Humans are known for their great ideas, like the invention of the wheel or racism. That one's obviously a joke. I'm not quite incest enough to actually believe that, but regardless, today I'm talking about an idea so great, so ahead of its time, that it didn't even work. And it all happened when a man got pulled over for a DUI and he had his dog in the car with him and a light bulb went off on his head. He pretty much turned into Albert Einstein for a second and said, "You know what? I'm going to pull a switcheroo right here, fool this officer, leave him with his pants around his ankles, not knowing what's going on. I'm going to swap seats with my dog and try to blame it as the one who was driving." And that is exactly what he did. He tried to create this Looney Tunes kind of scenario here after getting pulled over for driving over the speed limit. He was going 52 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone at approximately 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night in Springfield, Colorado, whenever the officer decided to conduct a traffic stop because of the aforementioned speeding. And now this is where the story gets into very silly territory, because according to the statement, it says the driver attempted to switch places with his dog who was in the passenger seat as the SPD officer approached and watched the entire process. So this officer pulled over the car and then was watching through like the back windshield and just seen this dude hopping over the middle console, trying to get into the passenger seat, picking up his dog and like moving it over to the driver's seat, putting his paws up on the steering wheel. Honestly, if I was the officer in that situation, I would have considered letting him go, because he put a lot of dedication, a lot of effort into trying to make it look like he wasn't the one that was driving and it was actually his dog. And maybe his dog was like Scooby-Doo or something. It gained the ability to speak English and drive motor vehicles. But man, this is just so funny. I love this story. But the statement continues and says, the male party then exited the passenger side of the vehicle and claimed he was not driving. So he, after he hopped over and the cop watched him do this entire thing, he got out of the passenger door and said, "Hey man, look, I was in the passenger seat. The dog is in the driver's seat. I wasn't driving." It's so obviously the dog. Which honestly, dog's supposed to be man's best friend, and you don't snitch on your best friend. You don't frame your best friend. That's kind of messed up to try to put all the blame on your dog. I feel like he might have just brought the dog along on that drive for the purpose of staging it like it was the one that was driving if he did get pulled over. Also, that's kind of a douchebag move. You're already driving drunk, endangering the life of others, and you got your dog in the car with you while you're drunk driving. That's reckless beyond belief, man. But the story does continue because the officer wasn't a 5-year-old who didn't have object permanence yet. He seen what was going on, he knew exactly what was going on, and he may have been taking his job a bit too serious, enforcing the law and whatnot, because he did ask the driver about his alcohol consumption that evening, and that was when the dude made a run for it. But he didn't make it very far. According to the statement, once again, they said the male party was apprehended quickly within about 20 yards of the vehicle. So that man took off, and if this was on a football field, he would have only got a first down at most. It would have been a good first down because 20 yards on a run play is very good. And the officials did a bit of deliberating, and they decided that they are going to throw a flag on the play because he was drunk driving. And he's not just going to be getting charged with drunk driving and being a goofball. He also apparently had 2 active warrants out for his arrest in Pueblo, but the police didn't say what those were for, so But the charges he's going to be faced with on top of those active warrants are driving under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, driving while ability impaired, driving under suspension, and speeding 20 to 24 miles an hour over the speed limit, and resisting arrest. Quite the rap sheet right there. And as for the dog, I know you were worrying about the dog. What about the dog? What happened to the dog? I'm getting to that. I saved the most important part for last. The dog involved in the case was given to an acquaintance of the driver to be taken care of while he remains in jail with pending charges. And then the police department also had to get a little joke in there, a little zinger. They said, the dog does not face any criminal charges and was let go with just a warning. And honestly, I think that's kind of funny. Typically, police departments aren't known for their senses of humor, but that's a pretty good joke. Anyways, I just wanted to bring this goofy little story to you because I seen it yesterday morning, and I've been laughing about it ever since. I can't stop thinking about it. It's just such a funny little story, but I'll catch you in the next one.